I've known you for years, and I really admire the way that you have unlocked some of the freelancer goals that I have not managed. That I know ADHD have been some of my stumbling blocks, and you have consistently gotten bylines. And I know that you have like similar sorts of mental blocks that I do. So I was like, all right, I want to know how she gets around through those. You're a kind of a connector. Like you have like the best people. So I figured between you and like the people in class, and then I knew you'd also have guest speakers, there'd be plenty of good stuff. It kind of gave us all a sense of like, oh, we're all in different places on this journey. And so like that also gave us different perspectives on self-care and being compassionate, like self-compassion as well. So that was really useful, I think, when some of us were like tying ourselves in knots or really being mean to ourselves, for someone else to be like, what if it's just okay that you do that? I'm like, really? Maybe it is. You had us ask, like, what's the smallest possible thing that you could do? 15-minute size piece you could finish and celebrate. And then the idea that like it's okay to break it down into a piece that's small. That really stuck with me. And you said like my consistency is that I start again every time I stop. And that was really, really helpful as well. Like that it's not about every single time I do this, I get up at 6 a.m. and I hustle or whatever. It's that when it stops working, I pick myself up and I start again. It's more than just distraction. These are not just like, oh, you go, ooh, squirrel, and you're easily distracted and, you go down rabbit holes and stuff like that. And that is part of it. And figuring out, how to set up your workspace and set up your time and set up your life in a way that minimizes those distractions is really good. And that is part of what you're learning, but it's also about understanding how that fits into the challenges of writing. There's the rejection sensitivity, like the rejection dysphoria, and that's comes partially from the fact that you're told you're too much so much when you have ADHD, that you are really sensitive to being told you're too much, and so that makes it very difficult to accept critique on work if you're a writer. And so figuring out how to handle that. And then there's also the constant drumbeat of not good enough, not living up to my potential, doing it wrong, I'm lazy, all of the messages we were told as children that, like she's very bright, but she's not living up to her potential. She talks too much in class. She's, if she's interested, she'll do the hard work, but if she's not, she won't. She's lazy.
How did your relationship to all of that change after the class?
Like forgiving myself for like wanting to offload tasks that I'm not interested in. The other thing I thought was really cool was how you were talking about like, this is not like, okay, I figured it out and I'm done. You were talking about things that you were still working on. I don't know if it's generational or what, but I do have this tendency like, oh, I should have it figured out by now because, I'm too old to be figuring stuff out. And no, that's not the case. There's no statute of limitations on discovering things.